The Serie A matches of the week following the international break. The Milan derby between Inter and AC Milan. Um, Milan with a loss could be 6-2, and it is Inter that play Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Atletico Madrid is Gamachi of 62. So AC Milan could fall to 6-2 before Inter take on Atletico in Champions League play. On the other hand, when we go to AC Milan, they could have 9 wins and 1 loss before Inter take on Atletico Madrid. So this is two ways of looking at it. If Inter score 2 goals in the Milan derby, it is Milano, that's Gamachi of 28. Milano's the Italian word for Milan. If Inter win, they could have 9 wins and 3 losses under manager Christian Chivu. Christian is Gamachi of 93. Inter could have 9 wins and 3 losses in the Campionato. If Inter win, they could have 27 wins for the season. And their next league match would be against Pisa. Milan, their next match in the league would be against Lazio. Both in Coppa Italia and the Campionato. It's Lazio, that's Gamachi of 27, and 2 ciphers. Pisa is Gamachi of 27, so ultimately I do believe Inter pick up their 27th points in the Campionato before taking on Pisa, before Milan takes on Lazio the following week. So I think it is an Inter victory in the Milan derby, the Derby della Madonnina. Who knows if they get to the plus 26 differential for the season against AC Milan, or plus 22 if Inter loses big against Milan. I suppose that is true as well. Inter, they've already lost against Napoli and Juventus, so they've lost 3 matches. They haven't won the big matches yet. This November the 23rd, which is 5, and 2025 is 9. Interesting enough, that is a 25 7-day in numerology. And what could happen? It could be Milan's 7th win, 7 wins and 1 loss before Inter takes on Atletico de Madrid. Atletico de Madrid is Gamachi of 71. If we go off of the 25-7 numerology, then I suppose they could get to 7 goal differential. For Milan, they could get their 25th points. This could mean the match could end in a draw for Inter to pick up their 25th points of the season. I think you have to do a following match sequence. So they get Lazio and then Torino. So what do we see with Torino? What do we see with Lazio? Torino 71, so hey, they could, if the match ends in a draw, 6 wins and 1 loss, and then they could beat Lazio, and Milan could enter with 7 wins and a loss against Torino. Let's look at the following match sequence for Inter. They get Como after Pisa. In Venezia in Coppa Italia. Now, Venezia is 37. I don't want to look too much into Venezia. Como is Gamachi of 62. It's like the following match in the league is against Como in the Campionato, and they could get to Milan could fall to 6-2 with that following match against Como when they take on Pisa. I think we have to look at AC Milan's record. I want to dig deeper into the Coppa Italia sequence. So that 25-7 numerology can be interpreted in a couple of different ways. Coppa Italia, December the 3rd. Milan, December the 4th. So Inter would be playing the Coppa Italia first before Milan do. Venezia is 82 and in the table. Okay, so this 8-2 for Milan. I want to ignore that a little bit. 25-7 is the numerology date of the match. And in the season, it just probably makes more sense for Inter to win, I think, quite frankly. Milan, the defensive record is good. That they couldn't beat Juventus, they couldn't beat Atalanta. Atalanta dominated them. They have not. They've beaten Roma. I don't know. I don't know how good Roma really is, to be honest. Their defensive record is good, but they do have a quality win against Roma. So I wanted to look into Lazio a little bit. Società Sportiva Lazio. When typing it out, what do we get? The full name of Lazio. Società Sportiva Lazio is 93, and again, Christian Chivu is 93. And when we look at 25-7, don't be surprised if Milan score first in the Derby della Madonnina. I think they could score first. So, again, when we look at a next opponent sequence, when fully breaking down the Milan Derby, so Milan have Lazio next. When they take on Lazio, they lose the Milan Derby for Inter to have 9 wins and 3 losses. So Società Sportiva Lazio is 93. Christian Chivu, 93. And this is where we get Inter entering with 27 points against Pisa. So the final conclusion, Inter does win the Milan Derby. I will go 2-1. Juventus against Fiorentina, who sacked Stefano Pioli. 5 draws and 7 losses with a loss against Juventus. Fiorentina's Camacho 57. I can see Juventus beating Fiorentina to have 2 wins in the first 4 matches under Luciano Spalletti. Juventus is Camacho 24. What about the Camacho Bodo Glimt in Champions League? The Cagliari Bodo Glimt. I'm not saying much with Bodo Glimt, to be honest. Cagliari's Camacho 57 before taking on Cagliari. Fiorentina fought 5 draws and 7 losses. So I do believe this is a Juventus win over Fiorentina La Viola. Juventus to get the win. Other big matches in the Campionato. Napoli against the Atalanta with their sacked manager. Napoli's Camacho 32. What if Atalanta get to 3 wins and 2 losses? What if they beat Napoli? It's a different champion. Napoli, it's Conte's gonna cry. He's gonna leave. Napoli are falling apart. This and that. They can't score. Oh, European matches. So I think Napoli could potentially fall apart. Potentially. I mean, Napoli can hardly score any goals. A following Champions League match sequence, Karabag is who they would play. You start to wonder if these matches, too many matches, starting to take a toll on Napoli across multiple competitions. This could be a frustrating match for Napoli. I mean, they have not scored a goal for 3 matches now, so this could be a struggle against a team that just sat their manager. This would be Atalanta sacked their manager. So this could spell trouble for Conte. Napoli, Atalanta. If they lose against Atalanta, they could enter with 22 points against AS Roma in the Derby della Sole. The top 2 biggest teams south of northern Italy. They could enter with 22 points against Associazione Sportiva Roma by losing against Atalanta. Ademola Lookman, is he going to score? Is he rejuvenated? This is something to look out for. Atalanta have a positive goal differential. They sat Juric. Okay, what about the next league match? They get Fiorentina. I suppose Atalanta could fall to 2-3 if I'm overreacting. La Viola is Gematria, or rather, Viola by itself is Gematria 23. So, at the end of the day, it will not surprise me if Atalanta fall to 2-3. They could stay at 2 wins and 7 draws, entering the match against La Viola. La Viola's 27. I'll give Conte a chance. I don't want to underestimate Antonio Conte. Napoli, figure it out. This is at home at Naples. The bottom line is Napoli need to respond. Napoli are going to get a result. You're going to have to keep pace with Inter. You beat Inter. What are you made of? What are you made of, Napoli? What are you made of? Now, Roma is Gematria 25. Roma by itself. Roma is 25. Napoli could enter with 25 points against Roma in the Derby della Sole. Derby della Sole, Derby of the Sun. So ultimately, I will go Napoli win, I believe. Bologna's 33. You have to be aware of the 3 draws and 3 losses. What opponent are they going up against? Udinese. The penalty kind of derailed Udine from having a chance of getting a result, but the Udinese is just 77. I mean, here with Bologna, it could be another victory. I think I got a gold Bologna victory. I think so. Really, for Juventus, Milan drop points, possibly Napoli, depending on what happens. Some numbers do stack up. Cremonese, what do we get? 97, 43, 146, 47. As it stands, nothing stands out on the table. 24 with Napoli coming up. When you get closer to 31, you get closer to that. Guess it all depends on the wins and losses for Roma. Hey, I think we should type out Derby della Sole here because that's going to tell how many points they could enter. Sole is 51, 15, 57, 21. Conte is 24. Could Roma lose and enter with 25 points? I remain skeptical that they will lose against Cremonese. Cremonese has been good. This could be dropped points, but ultimately, I think a Roma victory.